Alright, welcome back to Guardian Games, here for Modern Mondays. We're Portland Paper. I'm Travis Cooper, hanging out with
I-
producer extraordinaire,
Ian.
and we're watching some paper magic. We have 4 rounds here. We're in the third right now, and we have a little bit of a repeat with some Esper Shadow. Zeke playing that deck, facing off against Jeremy James playing Grixis Control. Interesting note, these are the two people that were commentating last week, and we get them paired up. Both of them are 2-0 right now.
Yeah, they tell us Hogak is taking over Modern, but according to our stream, it's Esper Shadow.
Yeah, it looks like we've got in the undefeated list here, we have Esper Shadow, Grixis Control, and what else do we got coming up here? We have Infect, we got uh, 4-color Zoo, and I think we might have had a Tron out there too. Not sure what else is floating at the undefeated tables.
And we actually have not even seen Esper Shadow lose yet. So it looks like Zeke led off with a Thoughtseize. Jeremy decided to Spell Pierce that. And Zeke is following up with another Thoughtseize, and this time it's going to resolve.
Looks like we get a Snapcaster Terminate. Is that a Nimble Obstructionist that I see hanging out
That's
up there?
correct.
And Kalidas, Trader of Get.
Yep.
And oh, what's his name?
Jeremy's favorite.
Duretti? Is that Duretti? Duretti. There we go.
Uh, Davriel, I
Davriel?
believe.
Okay.
Duretti's the little goblin.
Oh, right, right. What does Davriel do?
Let's take a look at Davriel.
Looks like and Zeke fetching and shocking down to 11. Feel like there might be a Death Shadow coming up.
Should we take a look at the old rogue Shadow Mage?
Huh.
Kind of an interesting win con. Jeremy is a fan of the rack style decks, so it's possible that his fandom's creeping over into Grixis control here. Davriel not too bad on value.
It's kind of a wrench mine that has a slight upside in the late game.
Yeah, it gives him a way to another way to close out the game, which can be nice for this Grixis deck.
I'm not convinced. I don't think that's good enough to make the cut.
I would agree, but you know, some people might say Grixis control isn't good enough to make the cut in Modern, so you do you, Jeremy. Zeke has tossed out a Death Shadow here.
And a Shadow coming in. We're going to get fetch before damage. Oh, are we going to cycle that Nimble Obstructionist? Looks like we
And we're
are.
gonna stop the fetch. I actually quite like that in this version of the deck, as I do think this Esper Shadow deck makes a bit better use of its mana than maybe the Grixis Shadow deck did. It's definitely more in the mid-range.
And we get a Nihil Spellbomb picked up by Jeremy there. Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. This Esper deck is looking to play some 3-drops for sure.
So we have not seen any Gurmag anglers out of this Esper list. Do they not play Gurmag then?
I'm unsure. It feels like there's not a settled 75, so I'll have to check in with Zeke and see what number of Delve threats that they're playing. Could also be hedging against some graveyard hate, and maybe you're playing your own Rest in Pieces on the board, so you might not want to be playing those Delve creatures.
Jeremy did draw into a Fatal Push off of that Nile Spellbomb, which is a good place to be right here. Decides not to run that out, instead just decides to opt.
Looks like Jeremy might have been digging for the 4th land drop there.
I could see that. This Grixis control deck is quite mana hungry.
You need all your different colors, and you usually want them to come into play untapped.
And a lot of the fun is in the 4-drops.
Inquisition. Get a push, get a Snapcaster.
So there are 2 pushes
Get a
there.
Davriel, get a Cletus, and another push.
So Jeremy is actually well insulated against this Inquisition, as he has 3 ways to make Fatal Push happen.
Yeah, I kind of want to take Snapcaster right now.
Yeah, I could agree. I think if you're not really going to be able to make a dent by taking a single Fatal Push, you might as well get the value out of there by taking the Snapcaster here.
Seems like Zeke agrees.
He's had plenty of chances to take Davriel. Doesn't seem to be terribly concerned.
Looks like Jeremy's going to be taking 5 there.
Drops to 7.
And we're flashing back a Souls.
Souls is actually, against these decks like Grixis Control that are playing a lot of targeted removals, Souls is quite good. I do happen to know that Jeremy, I don't know if he's playing them main deck, but there are Plague Engineers, as he borrowed 2 from me, so.
You get some inside intel.
Yeah. And I think we say this every time Jeremy's in the feature match area, but he always plays gorgeous Euro basics.
Okay, we're maybe getting a Fog and a discard. Our Zeke might just ignore the Planeswalker, but nope, we're taking it out.
Interesting. So Zeke, this is the sort of thing where, right, you have to assume like somebody's wrong here, as far as Zeke may be feeling like he is the value, he can actually win the value game, and Jeremy also probably feeling like he can win the value game. Grixis control an archetype that we pretty much only see Jeremy play here.
Yeah, it's online. There's been a couple lists recently because Unearth plus Jace plus spells is pretty good. It's been a little bit of a resurgence of Grixis strategies in general. They tend to be a little bit more mid-rangey these days, and yeah, it seems similar to what Jeremy might be playing. But yeah, the downside of Grixis is always just the mana base is quite painful, and when you're playing in very aggressive formats, you don't have any big upside like a Lightning Helix or a clean mana base like Blue-White in terms of comparing it to other control decks.
Sure, we got a little shout out from Eli, who we've been missing. Looks like he's in the Bay Area. Hope you're having a good time out there, and we miss you back here. Hopefully you'll be back before too long. And yes, I do remember you playing Esper Shadow.
It is always fun to play a deck that then gets adopted by the greater format and becomes like tier 1 or tier 1.5, however you want to designate deck list, to be like, I was onto something.
Yeah, and then when it rotates out, you can pretend that that didn't happen, like me with Amulet Titan right now.
Ooh, too soon, too soon. Keep getting these Death Shadows. They're just... I think Jeremy might have picked up a Snapcaster, perhaps?
So we get this, should we get some Snapcaster K command stuff going on then?
No.
Yikes. Oh.
Spell Snare is sometimes really good.
It's one of those things too where just the feeling of the Spell Snare. Ah. Thanks, fellas and ladies.
Jeremy's like, I'm just gonna sideboard with my deck upside down so you see this sweet Planeswalker.
Yeah, that's true. He's giving away some intel over there. Letting Zeke know that he has the God Pharaoh, Nicol Bolas, the Planeswalker.
Spell Snare is one of those cards that when it's sitting in your hand and it's worthless is a super bad feeling, but whenever it's good, sometimes it's like like the best feel good. Like when you get your opponent empty-handed, they draw a Snapcaster, and it's like, ah, that's how I'm gonna get back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nope.
Yeah, there's a couple of like insanely good feelings in Magic. That's one of them. I think playing the one of Mana Tithe in any white deck and getting somebody real hard on a big spell, that's another one of them.
I kind of like spell whenever you're able to leverage Spell Pierce in the very late game to like win a counter fight or like Spell Pierce and Ugin or something. That
Mm-hmm.
always feels like a win.
Yeah. I think too, the nice part about the Mana Tithe is when you're playing it as a one of and you get somebody and then they play around it for like the rest of the next games or whatever. It just has that kind of, it just gives you that warm feeling just for forever really after you've played it.
And definitely, and they're gonna play. They're gonna think about it at least
Yeah.
for the next couple
Yeah, it's
weeks.
gonna stress them out.
uh, Shadow of Doubt was a fun one that I liked to play that had a similar effect of
Yeah.
being able to stifle a fetch land and drawing a card, and then opponents always being a little bit worried to fetch after that.
Yeah, true. Jeremy has that going on with the old stifle bird over there, although, it tends to be a little slow, but that is a fun one to get people with. He had a memorable stifle bird of a Shrine of Burning Rage the last time I was casting. He lost soon after, but he did stifle bird a Shrine of Burning Rage for 14.
Sometimes it's fun to win the battle even if you lose the war.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some good stuff in the chat. Cannot believe that.
Yeah, we don't get the updates on the dating life of our Magic players here.
Yeah, what's up with that? I guess I know what's up with that. We mostly just do Magic. Oh, if you want to, you can come to the bar afterwards for the dating updates. Get them there. Both players taking a look at some opening hands here.
Blast Zone plus a Night Heal Spellbomb.
Jeremy's leading off. The 3-color deck that plays Cryptic Command also playing Blast Zone. That's not greedy. That's just value. Zeke shocks.
Well, we're, definitely gonna hit a speed bump if you want to use that graveyard, Zeke.
Yeah, Jeremy is, he also told me he is on a 4 Nile Spellbomb list. So, sometimes they get gacked, and then the next week you don't want to get gacked, so you play 4 Nile Spellbombs main deck.
Yeah, and then you probably get gacked and lose again.
Yeah, I'm sure. I was experimenting with all the ways I could build Amulet Titan specifically to beat the Hogak deck today, and I just lost every time I played myself with the Hogak deck. And I've never even played the Hogak deck before, so...
We have a Night Heal Spellbomb number 3 plus a Snapcaster with no targets.
I love it. So Jeremy's really he's getting the value out of these spell bombs. Zeke's just afraid to put a single card in the graveyard here. The clock is on. Dropping some souls. Zeke tokens.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be an intervention here. Well, I'm curious to see what Jeremy's zombie tokens look like.
Yeah, me too. There's a lot of arts to choose from for zombie tokens. You really have the gamut of possibilities. They've looked all sorts of ways.
Right, second Spellbomb is been activated.
Looks like maybe a Fatal Push picked up, but Jeremy's looking at a colorless land and a red man land besides that.
Yeah, kind of the two most awkward lands in the deck. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Something about Blast Zone, though, is that it can't hit 0 unless there's a way to remove a counter from it.
Well, there's a Plague Engineer.
Plague Engineers, Snapcasters.
Oh, I need to get
Spell
Jeremy
Pierce,
some
Fatal
invasion
Push.
factor fictions. Oh, he doesn't like the old border as much, doesn't he?
That's true.
Yeah. All
And
right,
those
that's
got
fair.
expensive, I think, too. I think they're like $7 or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you might want to be careful just yeah,
Hey,
throwing them around.
I'd do it for a. If we can get them on stream. I do love the old art for fact or fiction.
I like the old art better, and I do like the old borders, but I do like the theme of the new artwork seems very appropriate for the card. And Zeke taking that fatal push.
Come back. 14. I will go to 13. Go to 15. No, I have
Man, you would not believe the number of times fact or fiction has been
Are you
printed,
going
Travis.
15 or 13? I'm going to 13.
Look at that. Just Squee and Hannah aboard the good ship Weatherlight, just sorting through some papers. Wondering, Hannah gave Squee the opportunity to choose the piles of papers because she knew that Squee might not be the brightest
Huh.
goblin in the horde.
I think she made a good choice. I
Yeah.
also love that Opt is also from the same set,
Yes.
the original artwork.
I'm going to search.
And also, I don't know what symbol that is. I don't know what I brought up. All right.
Some things are happening. We're playing a Ranger Captain. We're grabbing a Death Shadow.
Cards and lots of text. And
I
not
got
like
them,
English.
and yeah. Do you know what this does?
I do.
Okay. Not that unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
This is all they had at the prize wall at the GP.
It happens.
Are we going to hit land number 4? Is it going to make blue or black mana?
Some foreign Death Shadows in my deck.
Does it have first strike?
Nope.
Or double strike?
It's just a 3/3. And I can sacrifice it.
Oh, name spirit.
All right. We got that Plague Engineer clearing the Lingering Souls. Spirit was the name. Plague Engineer, really a fantastic card in the matchup. Gets to clear the board of some sort of creature type, as there's a lot of O1s, or blank ones, X1s in Zeke's deck, and also gets to trade with whatever creature it wants. And Zeke does not have to worry about any sort of team or battle rage shenanigans.
Go to combat. Stop this one. Okay.
It is death touch.
Yours has death touch? Okay.
Plague Engineer does have Death Touch. It's going to kill a Ranger Captain, and 2 damage is going to
I
come
have to
through.
read your new
Mine actually has English. Yes.
unearth this guy. Results?
Oh boy, that's why Esper Shadow is pretty sweet now.
Does seem to be in a good spot. All right, let's take a quick look at the old.
So Jeremy had the opportunity to just sacrifice that Spell Bomb to basically counter the Unearth, and elected not to do it. Instead wants to draw a card. Might have missed it, but maybe it was intentional.
Man, that's interesting. I feel like
I think I would have sacked the Spell Bomb
Yeah.
just because you're doing it's like a 1-for-1 there. but
yeah, I feel like he would have had his. I mean, he's got plenty of action in hand right now.
I see a Cryptic Command over there. Kind of ways from casting that one. Do you have that Blast Zone hanging out on one?
Jeremy just desperately looking for a land here,
Ooh.
and he misses again. It's such a shame. This Grixis control deck can do a lot of things, but it is so mana hungry that when it's stuck.
Check for 9.
When it's stuck on no mana, it's a tough spot. Looks like the players have the life totals at 9-5. And I don't know if Jeremy has too many draws that save him here. So
Yeah, I think it was going to have to be land plus removal spell, but it didn't happen because the Blast Zone could have taken care of the Shadow, but then there's going to be 5 more damage coming through with the Ranger Captain Snapcaster.
tough beats for Jeremy, but we have 25 minutes in the round.
There's enough time to grab another match, and I will go scout one out and return shortly.